Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 140. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty, Kevin Ardolph. If you want to get involved in the show, go ahead and blue sky us. I'm at Master B. Sean is at Nasty Billy 22. Sean, I think it's changed to, right? Nasty Billy 22. Sean. And then Kevin is Emerald Bowler. On X, Sean's Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is SCA2 Believes He Too Believes. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think of the topics we talk about in the comments below. It was a sad day yesterday, gentlemen, as the Mariners season came to an end in Game 7 of the AL Championship Series against the Toronto Blue Jays. 4-3. Sean has the Mariners hat on, so he's an obvious first person to call out. Sean, what did you think of the Mariners in this past week?
I want to get this conversation over with. It wasn't good. Obviously, you had like I think an 83% chance to win the series, and yeah, in all intents and purposes, you let them off the hook. You had it. You had it. You had to get between two Kirby's, a Logan, and a Lewis start. You had to get one. You had to get one more win because you got two from Miller. You did. You couldn't do it. You just couldn't do it, and that's not. It's not acceptable. And me and Kevin talked about it. It was for a couple reasons. Again, all those starters didn't do a very good job, but like the bottom three hitters hit 100 in the whole series. The whole series, they hit 100. I just, that means they got like maybe a hit a game. Three whole hitters. Like the bottom was a complete black hole. It's not okay at any point. So between that, between the pitchers not living up to it, and which is, I would say, more understandable because the Blue Jays can hit. But again, you got to be better. But still, like the Blue Jays can hit the ball. But the bottom hitters, the Blue Jays can't pitch. You've got to do something. You have to be able to do something. Get a walk, do something. But it was frankly unacceptable. The top lineup did their job, but the bottom they just didn't do anything. They just didn't do anything. And so between those two, playing with like when the Blue Jays like seven guys, pitchers and hitters included, played well. The other out of the other 25, the rest didn't. I guess you could give Gino a half because he did hit two home runs, but other than that, he didn't do anything else. So, like, I mean, he won him a game, but like, I mean, that was great, and that's what you have him for. But like, man, just anything else would have been great. But like, I seven of the 25 guys did something. The Blue Jays had just had more depth, which is crazy because I think the Mariners have more depth. Like Canzone was at 850 OPS hitter in the season, and he was a 245 OPS in the playoffs. Like what? It's a 600-point swing in OPS. Like I don't know what JP Crawford was a 500 OPS in the playoffs, 200-point swing. Rivas, I don't know why he's playing so much, but like that's a whole other issue. But like they just Victor Robles, 400 OPS. I don't know what happened. I don't know because the Blue Jays can't pitch very well. Like just frankly speaking, like so between the pitchers, a couple. I'll say this: I get an order. I blame the bottom of the lineup, then the pitchers, and then Dan Wilson's decisions. Those are the three things that made it. But like ultimately, we were still in positions to win the game. The players just didn't do the job. Now, Dan Wilson, there were some situations where Dan could have helped, obviously, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't have been to Game 7. Like I said, you had two Kirby, a Lewis, and a Logan start. You have to win one of them. You got to win one of those games. Like they're good enough to win the game, and they didn't do it. And regardless of what Dan Wilson did and didn't do, I'm very confident they played another 7 game series. You roll up those four, and they're going to win a game. But they just didn't do it when we needed it to. Like, and that's on them, not on Dan Wilson. And again, the pitchers. I don't know why we're playing Rivas, but other than that, Canzone is better than he was. JP Crawford is better than he was, and they did not do it. They did not. And yeah, you got to play Munoz there instead of Bizardo. But like, who's to say Munoz doesn't get hit? Maybe not home run, but what if he does? What if he doesn't? But like, we're in this situation because the players didn't perform like they were supposed to. To Kevin's point, Kevin says all the time, the other team's paid to play as well, and so are we, and our guys did not perform. And I think this one is more the Mariners let the Blue Jays off the hooks than the Blue Jays earned it. We have the talent to do what we're supposed to do, and we didn't do it. Period. I said this one. I'll pass it off to Kevin after this. In the last inning, this was emblematic of the whole series after the first 2 games, and I said this on Blue Sky. The other team realized the Mariners are super aggressive and threw them no strikes. In the last inning, keep in mind, Canzone, Luis Rivas, and Julio all struck out. So they all struck out. Not to mention foul balls, everything like that. The pitcher literally in the entire inning threw 2 strikes. He threw two, and we struck out he struck out the side. If the Mariners didn't take a bat to the plate, the inning is still going. Keep that in mind. The Mariners got themselves out. Some of these weren't close. Go look at Julio's at bat. Two of the three strikes aren't even close to the strike zone. We got ourselves out. That's what happened here. I can't remember his name now. He's not a good closer. He's not a good pitcher. His ERA was 4.5 from the season. He's not good. We got ourselves out. We did this, not the Blue Jays. And that's what I think hurt the most. The Mariners had it, and we gave it away. Okay, I'll let somebody else go. I'm mad.
Kevin, what do you think?
I'm still, my voice is still recovering from screaming yesterday. Like, so I'm gonna try to enunciate as best I can. As kind of Sean mentioned, to put it a different way, our biggest strength became our biggest weakness during this series, and that was our starting. I think they showed this. I think it was Sunday they showed the stat. Our starting pitching had an ERA of 5 in that series. That's unacceptable. Period. Like the boot needs to be delivered to ass. Like that's literally just unacceptable. Like I I kind of chime a little bit up to it, and people will probably disagree with it too. It's just inexperience and nerves. I think that really happened with Kirby and a little bit with Logan and a little bit with Castillo. Just
Kevin, I want to ask you a question about that. Not that I'm disagreeing, but do you think maybe because there were some injuries with both of them, do you think they were just tired too? Like at the end of the season, where they
and
just
that could
gassed?
it could have been. I think it's a mixture of all of the above.
It's probably because they were
Nerves,
used.
fatigue.
They were so good in the Tiger series, but they were used a lot in that Tiger
Yeah,
series. All the
I think
pitchers.
it's a mixture. I think it's a mixture of all of the
Probably.
above.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Not good enough though. Not good.
Um, but no, it was not good. But at the same time too, like that's what you're there for. If you want to win championships, you got to figure that shit out.
You're gonna be tired.
You got to figure that. I mean,
Yeah.
let's say we won that. Now you're going to World Series to play the Dodgers. You're gonna throw that shit again? Like you
Well,
can't do. They'll just take.
Kirby and Lewis after the first 2 games, it was full rest for everybody after
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like so, if
It's
you're not stretched out to throw 200 innings, what are you on this team for the playoffs? You know what I mean? Like
now, yes, it sucks that Wu never really got to fully start, but at the same time too, like you should have got it done. Like Kirby was on pretty good amount of rest. Castillo was on a really good amount of rest. Um, even Logan too. Like on Sunday was on good
they were
rest.
all 5+ after
Yeah,
the first 2 games. It was full
like
healthy, full go. Yeah.
the only person that I will say that I was happy and impressed with was Bryce Miller. Like Bryce Miller came to play. Like Bryce Miller came to show up. Now, yes, Bryce Miller had far fewer innings on the season than the rest because he was gone for so long. That could have played a factor into it too. But at the same time too, like this is what you're. I mean, Logan, you're coming on a contract here, soon, and look what you did in the playoffs. I mean, don't get me wrong, what he did in the regular season, phenomenal. But like
But
postseason,
the other team's pitchers are the same tired as you are.
yeah, like I don't want
Yeah.
I don't want 4 Kershaws on my team, where like you can pitch in the regular season lights out, but then when it comes to playoffs, you
Yeah.
just fall to the face of the
You
earth.
gotta hold something in reserve. If you
Yeah,
gas yourself in the regular season, what good is it?
honestly, even though there was a little bit of hiccup, I like what I saw out of Wu.
Yeah.
It looked honestly, and that's the other thing you could argue. So in that moment, you give it to your best pitchers on the team, and that is one of two. You either go to Munoz or you let Wu figure it out because Wu's your other best pitcher.
Yeah, you could also make a case for Brash. Brash is pretty nasty
But
already too.
yes,
But yeah,
yes,
I would say I'm agreeing. I'd say it's either you leave Wu or you go Munoz. Yeah,
yeah.
you don't even mess around with Brash. Yeah.
And honestly, too, I especially Game 7, we were. I mean, I saw it during others too, but we need to stop swinging it. Like patience at the plate. Like
Yeah.
I get it. I think it's a little bit of inexperience in the playoffs too, but at the same time too, like that's what Dan's there for. Like Dan needs to
Yes.
just
Yeah.
like be like, hey, y'all are swinging at dog shit.
They are an aggressive team, and I get it. That is what they do. But at a certain point, it was very clear the Jays were like, they're super aggressive. Let's just throw it outside and they'll swing at it. And at some point, Dan needed to be like, look, you're aggressive, but they're not throwing you strikes at any point. Don't swing at it. To your point, Kevin, before I want to say this about Bizzardo. I'm not blaming him for a second. He was nails the entire playoffs. He gave us multiple innings. He was nails. And, if you're out there for 18 innings in 2 playoff series, you're going to give up a home run at some point. It's just going to happen. And it sucked. It was that moment. But he was nails the day before. Like, it's not on him. It's not on him. He gave us everything he had all postseason.
I'm just saying, in that
Yeah. scenario,
Game 7,
No, yeah, I agree though. But I just want to say, like, people who are blaming him are
Oh
misguided.
yeah, no, he was lights out.
Yeah, he was lights out. But you pitch that many innings, you're gonna get a home run. It's just gonna happen. Like, yeah,
But at the same time, and same can be said, like offense, stop swinging at dog crap. Like the starting pitcher was not the greatest. Like his slider was terrible. Like I was watching that thing or sinker slider, whatever the fuck you call it. It was, and we're swinging at it. Like I literally watched freaking Naylor on the first pitch, like try to golf club it over off the outside bottom corner. And I'm like, what are you swinging at? I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, the first inning was atrocious. I can't remember if it was, but like there was a lot of stuff we're just swinging at just pure unadulterated crap. Like, what are we doing? Like, you guys are, and there's some, and we'll get to, I don't know if we'll get to it this podcast. We'll definitely get into it later about off-season plans and like what we're gonna do. But there's some players, honestly, it's just gonna like it's time to stare at the flowers. It's
look at this batting chart. I don't know if you can see it.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
we
last yeah
That's a strikeout. There's not even none are in the
box.
around the batter's strike zone.
Yep.
That's the series right there.
Yeah.
What do we do? What like that's like to Kevin's point, that's a Dan Wilson thing. Like, guys, they're letting you get out. If you just took pitches, we're still probably running the bases. It's 10, like to Kevin's point, we're not scrounging 3 runs. We have 8 runs and it doesn't matter. Just let them throw you to first. They were like, they're gonna swing. And Dan Wilson be like, actively take at least a couple pitches because they're not letting you hit. Period.
And there was too many times in this series where we had guys in scoring position with like 1 out or no outs, and we got nothing. And that is unacceptable. Pure unacceptable. There was even a moment when Cal had it, he had bases loaded with 1 out, and he did the most ignorant swing he swung at the most ignorant pitch I've ever seen, and then he just lines out to first. And I'm like, what are you swinging at, Cal? I'm like, you just had to fly out and you're chopping it down to the first base line. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh my God. Just like around the board. Yes. As Sean mentioned, the bottom half, awful. Randy Arozarena. Like the only thing he did was got hit by a pitch. Good job,
I think
Randy.
he hit 1 home run, maybe. I think in their whole postseason, hit 1 home run.
Yeah,
that was in the game they lost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Randy Arozarena, like you were clutch for Tampa Bay in the playoffs. You were like a nightmare for teams when you're on Tampa Bay in the playoffs, and you were just like literally we could have put a cardboard cutout of me up there, and it would have done better at the plate. To be honest, it was horrific. Julio, Polanco, Cal,
Naylor. Those are the 4.
Naylor. Yeah. This postseason showed like how badly we really need to re-sign Naylor. Holy crap. Give that man what he wants. Just get him back on this team. The rest of them, even Eugenio, I get the vibes and stuff, but it was just no. And his defense was
35. No,
yeah.
that's not
his
happening.
defense was terrible too. His defense cost us runs too. Sure, he won us a game, and we'll always remember, but he also cost us runs the next game after with 2 errors. And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Now I get one of them was difficult. It was a line drive, and he was just quick interchange hands. I think Ben does do it, but Ben also doesn't have but at the same time too, Suarez doesn't really have the bat other than those home runs. So it's like, I think you should just go with Ben. And then you also have that Colton Emerson guy who's kind of good. That's eventually going to be coming up. That could technically, I mean, he's shortstop, but he can play third if you want him to. But it's, definitely, we'll get into that probably more in a later podcast when we have the time. But it was just, it's sad. We should be in a World Series right now. But honestly, with the way the starting pitching was, I think we probably would have got smashed by the Dodgers just
Yeah,
because
but it would have been nice to go to get smashed,
yes,
Like,
exactly. But now if our pitching reverted and went back to what it was during the regular season, because there's so many people like I have an Angels fan that I work with, and there was some guy bowling last night who's a Dodgers fan. He's like, "We would crush you." I was like, I'm gonna let you know right now. If our pitching is anything like it was during the regular season, you guys stand zero chance in hell. I'm like, I don't give a crap if you got Otani. Like
it,
Woo just doing if he's back to full Woo, and then with how Bryce Miller's been, I'm like, there's no shot.
it,
He's gonna take one or two, but I'm like, pitching wins championships.
I
It's
don't know, man. The Dodgers have healthy pitching and they're locked and loaded right now.
they
Like,
are good, but
it would have been who hits more home runs. That would win between the Mariners and the Dodgers would be who hits more home runs.
yeah,
But like right now, I don't see how the Blue Jays do anything. I just to be honest, I
no.
don't see how they
I
come up with
honestly I
anything.
think it could be a sweep by the
I mean, it's
Dodgers.
baseball. It's 7 games. You never know.
They
Like
have to slug their way out of it.
they could get lucky, but
It's going to be offense.
Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Otani, and Glass now 1 through 4. That is just filthy. They're all
Uh,
healthy.
they're going to have to like hope and God they're going to have to like I said they're going to have to win games like 10-8. But with that lineup, I don't see it. And with their pitching, like all they have is Bieber, who's been okay for them, and that's the other thing. I'm so pissed. Like, how do you get like rolled by a 40-year-old Max Scherzer? Like,
Yeah, that was the one
what
that sucked. Max
what
Scherzer.
what are we doing there? Like,
Yeah, you didn't
Bieber,
get beat.
I
You got rolled. Yeah, you got rolled by him.
Bieber's solid. Like when Bieber's on, Bieber's scary. That's fine. And I kind of that's we were talking about that last podcast. I'm like, if Bieber's got his stuff going, that's one we could lose, but we should not have lost the Max Scherzer game. That's unacceptable. Like he's just old shit, angry, and yeah. So I'll throw it out.
Uh, yeah. I mean, all of us Mariners fans are going through the emotions right now. In Game 7 in particular, they went up in the first inning, and I was excited because that's what they had to do. They had to get up and they had to keep building. And they had plenty of opportunities to keep adding to that lead. And as soon as they kept hitting in double plays or bunting over guys and not bringing them home, it felt like it was going to shift at some
Why
point
bunt
because they
to bring up Luis Ribas? Like, what are you doing? Like, uh, she's the one should be bunting. Why are you bunting JP for Luis Ribas?
I don't know, man. Like I get the strategy to add more runs, but it just didn't work. Like I don't know.
No,
I
the
don't know.
strategy
But
works if like it's Cal Raleigh, not a guy with a like. What is
I
Luis
didn't
Ribas gonna do? And again, no, that doesn't make sense. Bunting for outs is stupid.
hit
But
hit
like,
the ball. But like you guys have already said, like uh, the Mariners, they were up 2-0. We were feeling great on this podcast last week, and after the first two games in Seattle, it it did not feel great because when you look at the Mariners when they got down, because I think both those games they lost at home, they were
yeah,
up
they're rough.
early. They got down and they looked defeated. Like they didn't have the ability to come back once they were down. Like they looked already lost. And game 4, you guys mentioned Scherzer and you know whatever, he's old, I don't care, but like
He
I
sucks
was
too. Is the problem.
well, he kicked our ass, but I mean,
That's a to Kevin's point. That's a mirror problem. The rest of the league handled him pretty well all year.
I mean, fair enough, but he beat us. So like you see Scherzer out there like telling his coach to not take the ball from him, and the Mariners had none of that fire, none of it. It felt like the Blue Jays wanted it more. That's what it felt like, and it's hard to like lose and like look, they just outplayed us, and we played well and they outplayed us. And as Sean mentioned, I think we can all agree that the Mariners beat themselves. It hurts more when you beat
Yeah,
yourself, when you know you
yeah.
can beat them, when you know you should have won and you didn't win. So that part certainly hurts. Because the Blue Jays, I
They're
mean,
good, but I
yeah,
think the Mariners were the better team and got in their way. That's the Mariners got in their own
the
way.
Mariners definitely got in their own way, and the Blue Jays took advantage when the Mariners
Yeah,
got in their own
yeah.
way. And as I mentioned, like when they got up, it was over. You could tell it was over. They
That
they they
Matt,
had
do you
no
think
fight
that's a
except
Dan Wilson problem? Like that's kind of a motivation thing. Like
except in Game 5 where they were down. tied the game and got the grand slam and 3-2 lead.
But like you
But
said, those first two games at home were awful, and you're right, they were over. And I'm like, Dan, like to Kevin's point, adjust, motivate your guys. That's kind of what modern managing is at this point. And if you're not doing that, why are you here?
and then we're up 2-0 and to see it go to 2-2, fine. But you still got a best of three. And then they responded well enough to win that fifth game. You've got two chances to clinch it. Game 6 was horrendous. That was horrible by the Mariners. They didn't look interested in playing. And then, they played much better in Game 7, could have played better and won the game. So it hurts from the aspect of the fact that the Mariners should have won the game. I don't really like. I've seen online all these people like, oh, Dan, but like you could point the finger all different places. You could say what if for everything, and we're gonna play that game until spring training. Let's be real. So,
Mhm.
I don't. You can't point to one specific thing. It was a team failure. The bats didn't show up. The pitching wasn't great. It was just overall the Mariners beat themselves, and that's the way it goes.
I
But
think maybe what you're saying is I think maybe not even like they were done, but to Kevin's point and what we were talking about earlier, they just looked tired. They looked like the postseason was done. Like they were like Logan did after the first series looked so good against the Tigers and just looked tired. He just looked like he didn't have anything. Like you said, with Max Scherzer's yelling, Logan just looked tired out there. He just looked like he didn't have it. And I mean, yeah, it's a pitching thing, but that's kind of an organizational thing. That's a Dan Wilson thing. But like you said, it came down to they had to do so much in the heavy lifting in the first series because the bats never showed up other than one game.
I mean,
They
looking
just
at
did
this
not.
this postseason, they didn't score more than 10 runs, and they scored more than three times.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. The
it,
bats in the
it's
Tiger series let them down hard, and it
but
bled over to the series.
but the pitching was able to save them, and it wasn't able to save them this time.
And that's what
And
I'm
then you
saying.
get
Like
yeah, and
they're
then you
on
get this
such a
result.
fine
So
margin, and having to go all out for so long, they probably caught up. To Kevin's point, but you gotta dig deep. You gotta find the Max Scherzer in you, and I'm like, it's probably a combination of the bats, the pitchers didn't do it, and then the Dan Wilson didn't help it. It's kind of the pot of three things then there that they mix them together,
it's the
and like
entire
they
team
did
is what it
not.
sounds like: bats, pitching,
Well,
manager.
the bottom of the lineup, but
Bottom of the lineup certainly, but like that last pitch that Julio swung out for the final out, like you
yeah,
mentioned, like
but
what, like stop swinging
yes,
at crap.
I
Stop
get
swinging at
Julio
crap.
had a bad last at bat of the season, but he was great in the postseason. Like I'm honestly,
Uh,
if I'm gonna nitpick, like they didn't lose because Julio hit a home
I'm
run
not
and
I'm
had like
not
2 hits in
saying
that
they
game.
lost because of
But that's
Julio.
what I'm
I'm
saying. Like
saying
in
every
general,
batter
I'm
needs to
just
be
saying
more
in general though,
patient.
like yeah, every batter had bad at bats, but that's 2025 baseball. Like Julio, Cal, Naylor, and Polanco get a pass. Everybody else didn't do anything. I'll give Gino like a half pass. I'll give him a full pass. He won us a game single handedly. Basically, he hit 5 RBIs. Like he won us the game, so he gets a pass. But everybody else, like you didn't do anything, and you swung at garbage. Like if Gino's gonna swing at garbage, okay, but he won to do a game by himself. So okay, you get a pass because you won it. So, but everybody, what did Luis Rivas do? He got a great hit later on. Awesome. Canzone, what the f are you doing the entire postseason? What is that? What was that? JP Crawford, man, come on.
I mean, I'm not interested in giving passes to anybody. Like it's a team game. You lost as a team, and you all deserve the blame. Like I get what you're
Well,
saying, but
no,
I
but
don't care
like
about that,
there are like
frankly.
Cal Raleigh had an OPS over 1,000. That dude showed up. Like that's MVP. Like
Cool, but you also could have done more. You could have done more.
yeah, but it's unrealistic to expect more from him.
Uh, so you still could have done more.
Yeah, he could have hit a home run every single at bat, but that's not realistic, Matthew.
I'm what I'm saying is I'm not. You guys are pointing the finger. I don't care. Like all of them deserve a finger point. That's what I'm saying.
Matt,
Everybody.
let's say you're doing a group project at school and you did all the work while everybody in the rest went to Denny's, and then the teacher says that you need to do more. Is that okay?
Like Matthew, yeah, like
Uh,
technically could have done more, but like
no, but that's not
That's
really the
essentially what you're
same
saying.
thing
he
here. So
cleared those four cleared the bar of blame,
Hey,
and that yes, they could have done more. That doesn't mean they're not void. They couldn't have done more to help them win, but they did the bar of the basically
uh,
what you had to do. If everyone else did that, you're winning every game, and they played
Cal,
those four played
Julio,
well enough.
Polanco,
Absolutely.
and
Especially
Naylor.
Cal. Cal had an OPS over 1,000. That is literally an MVP if you did that for a full season.
Yeah,
Like,
they all worked on the team project while the bottom of the lineup went out to Arby's and got Arby's and just goofed around the entire time.
and then they got an F, and those
Literally
five are like
was.
those four screwed up, and
you
the
should have
four are like,
gone
what
to
the hell?
Denny's because Arby's is a terrible decision regardless.
But
But
I get your point, Matthew, that they could do more. But my
yeah,
void is they contributed to the winning, and the other ones did not.
Correct.
fair enough. Like again, the what if game, the blah blah blah, point fingers.
No, it's
Yeah,
not even
I
what
get it.
if. That's what happened.
Sure, yeah.
Talent
So
was good enough to win them the games, and they
Everybody in the Blue Jays lineup contributed for the most part,
that's why they won.
and that's why they
and,
won.
and
Four
at
managers
least
contributed.
I have someone who isn't a sports fan who can reel me in because, I mean, like I'm sure we'll look back on this. They got the farthest they've ever been.
Yeah, no,
It could have been better, obviously.
we were texting a
Um,
friend, and I said, "Look, great year. Obviously,
yeah,
it sucked that they lost the way they lost. That's what's gonna sting. If they had lost like 4-3 and they made a little comeback, they were down 4-0, make a comeback in the last three innings. We look at it very differently. It just sucked that it was who hit the home run and how it happened was really what's kind of stung it. And you had such a big lead, but like all in all, you're one game away from the World Series. Like I said, it's a coin toss. Like you lost the coin toss basically at the end. Like you could have played, like you said, you could have played a little better, but like you were one of the three final teams. It's really hard to get that far because here historically only three teams get there, and you were literally 6 outs away from going to being the final two. Like it was a really good year. A lot of teams would famously 28 other teams would kill to have that season. Like right now, it's when you get those margins are so small when you get there, and coin flips didn't go your way or whatever happened. Bizzardo left it an inch too far, and that's it.
yeah. So I mean, we'll talk about it in future podcasts. It was a great season. Um, one of the most fun seasons
Just
I've ever had.
just
I've
a
attended
painful
two
end.
games, saw a playoff game that they won. So, looking back on it through a more positive lens, like hopefully this is something they can build on at least. And we could talk off season probably
Yeah,
in a future
we'll talk about it. I
podcast,
think they
but
will. They will. Yeah.
um, we'll see what they do because there's some things they could do. There's some guys they could keep, and we'll see how
They
they
had
feel
a
about that.
good year with some glaring holes, and I think the hardest part of the team is already in place. They just have to facilitate around it, which is like a really good position to be in. You're not old. You're very young still, and you could fill in. And you have the young pieces coming up. It's gonna like it could be a lot better sooner. So I'm not sky's falling. Just sucked how it ended. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get a brief moment to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. They won last night. I forget the score. It wasn't great. Well, I mean, it
20,
was good for the Seahawks, but it was
27.
27-19 at
Yeah.
home on Monday Night Football. Um, Kevin, what'd you think of the Seattle Seahawks yesterday? If you were able to watch, if you watched.
I was keeping track of it because I was at bowling. I was mainly watching yours, but I was also watching that as well. And then I went back and watched the highlights. It was an interesting. I will say with the amount of pieces that were down on defense, I felt like defense did okay.
I
There
think
was,
it did amazing.
yeah. Well, I'm also to the extent Houston's offense, especially with Nico Collins out, is not
With Nico
great.
Collins in, they suck.
It
They
was
suck.
definitely reminding me of the Seahawks trying to block people from last year because their O line is very bad.
Yeah.
Like, it is really bad.
So like I can't give it all to him because I was like,
Yeah,
Houston's
yeah.
offense is kind of not great.
I
So
hadn't seen much, and I'd heard their offensive line's bad, and I watched. I was like,
it's
"Ooh,
real bad.
that's
It's like
like."
five Anthony Bradfords. It's essentially almost.
There is a Seahawk chasing CJ Stroud. I felt like half a second after every play. It was like that man was running for his life every single second. And CJ, I don't think helped much, but like, there's not a lot you're gonna do when like as soon as you snap, there's two Seahawks in your face. Like they have a couple Anthony Bradfords. I feel like.
I
Offense.
had sorry, I'll go quickly. I had a dual screen up, so at least the Seahawks jumping out big early soften the blow of the Mariners a little bit. Sorry, yeah, Kevin, go ahead.
No, you're okay. Offensively, I thought we were solid. We definitely had hiccups. I thought we could have been better. If I were to give it out of 10, I'd say offense was like a 6 to 6.5. Like enough to get it done against a not so good team. The Cooper Cup thing, it was just a trick play gone wrong. It happens. People need to stop crapping their pants. And then like, sure, they the fumble in the end zone, not great either. Like people are there's people in the bowling alley who are like, God, he's so shitty. I'm like, he's a top five quarterback. I'm like, and they were like, you fumbled the ball right there. I'm like, well, he's trying to get out and he just didn't have it in position because he's getting ready to throw. It's hard to tuck it like while you're on the move and you got to do like that's all up in your face. And he's still a top five quarterback, so he's not shitty. Um, it's but uh I think we'll be fine going forward, to be honest. They'll kind of, especially as we start to get healthier and things along that line. I'm liking where this team is going. I don't think we've hit our peak yet, especially since we're not really like, it was nice to see Arroyo a little bit more involved in the offense. I like to see Cooper Kupp involved a little bit more in the offense, not throwing the ball though. More catching the ball, but Jackson Smith and Jigba, holy, like that dude is just if there was a question about whether he could be a number one receiver, it's been squashed. The dude's just stud, just a
Him
stud.
and Sam Darnold are like their
Yeah,
connection on some of these
it
throws.
reminds me of Russell and Lockett a little bit.
Yeah, it's just
It's
because
it
it's never. I mean, sometimes it's Jackson Smith, but I'm like, God, look at that throw. Then I'm like, God, look at that catch. Like it's just like it's like always a combo. Like they're so good with each other. I'm just like, damn. Like
there
that's
was
the thing I didn't think I see with Sam Darnold. Was his connection with JSN is like that throw. We're probably talking about that on the left side where he like the receiver even tips it and it's still like it's the perfectly thrown ball. It's like literally perfect.
there was
Like what are you
one
supposed to do as a
where
corner? He touched the ball. Like and it
there's
was
one
oh
where JSN's on the left and like Darnold's under pressure and like he like almost gets a gulp, but like comes out and like just throws a perfect dime to fucking JSN out in the flat. And JSN's also kind of being covered at the same time too, but just perfectly fits the ball into JSN's hands. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, how did that get in there? I'm like, okay. But no, all in all, because I know we're running a long time, I thought it was a solid win. It's still some hiccups, but I think we'll get that cleaned up hopefully over and especially as more and more starters. Okada looked good, but like at the same time too, it's hard to dive against a poopy team, how to rank it. So all in all, I'm okay with it.
I'm gonna go quick so Sean can get in here. You had 4 turnovers, so you should have lost the game, but luckily your defense was so good that it made up for it. Like you guys mentioned, Sam Darnold, JSN look great. Slam that football through the uprights as much as you want, JSN. Um, and I thought the defense was just very, very good. It just, they had towards the end of the game that like first and goal on the one didn't get in, and so that defense was they couldn't run the ball for anything, and then they tried to throw it, and the pressure was in his face so fast that coverage had to last maybe 3 seconds before it was over. So um, defense definitely stepped up. Offense could have played better, but good enough to win the game, even with 4 turnovers. Sean?
like you said, Houston's rushing was other than CJ Stroud one garbage time, 15 rushes for 30 yards. They absolutely dominated. They running the ball was wasted on that time. As someone who has Sam Darnold and Kenneth Walker on fantasy, didn't love the Zach Charbonnet handoff touchdowns all the time, but that was fine. I'll get over it. They won. I'll take that every day. Yeah, to your point, I think defense dominated, absolutely dominated everything. Kevin, to your point though, Erica looked good, but again, you're supposed to dominate a bad team, and they did. He absolutely did, and they did, and I think it's great for depth. Um, I think the running game started to look a lot better too. Like it's not like world beating, but like it needs to just be serviceable, and it's getting serviceable, and that's great. The other thing, Kevin, I sent you a video on mine. Anthony Bradford needs to look at the flowers now. I don't even care who you play at this point. There's literally Kenneth Walker's probably still running if Anthony Bradford doesn't tackle him on a screen on that little flip. It was beautifully designed. It goes for 6 yards, and I think they talk about it. Like he's still going for like 20 if his own lineman doesn't tackle him. And I look at him like, of course it's Anthony Bradford who tackled him. Like knocks him over, and I'm like, he's literally tackling your running back. Get him out of here. Sam Darnold it was kind of a messy game, like Matt said, 4 turnovers, but these are sloppy games that you got to win sometime. Every team's gonna have a sloppy game, and if you can win your sloppy game, that's great. And yeah, they absolutely dominated, and they really kept in check Nico Collins as well. So that was great. I mean, honestly, Reek looked really good. Had a bunch of breakups, so I really like that. So No, it was all in all, it was a really good game for the Seahawks. This kind of like the Mariners. The Seahawks played down to the Texans, but were still able to come out with it. Like the block kick, the 4 turnovers. The Texans scored 6 points. I mean, on the offense, they kicked 2 field goals. Like Sam Darnold fumbles in the end zone. The other one's a garbage time touchdown. Down multiple scores with 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes left. Like it's garbage time, and so they dominated that game. To Matthew's point, like straight up. So yeah, great win.
All right. Let's get a prediction in of the next game. They are off this week for bye, but they are back on November 2nd at the Washington Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Let's do some quick predictions. Commanders are kind of down. Jaden Daniels has been hurt a bit. I think they're going to play the Seahawks tough, but I do think the Seahawks come out with the win. I'm going to go 28-24 Seahawks. Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, like I said, Houston, Washington Commanders were not going to be as good as last year. They were going to regress across the field on third down, fourth down, and Jaden Daniels. I think they're regressing. Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback, but they're regressing hard. Their defense isn't as good. Seahawks should take this one. I'll go 10. I'll go. It'll really help getting all the defense back. I'll go 21-10.
Kevin?
It's going to depend on how healthy Debo is. Because they literally just got rolled by the Dallas Cowboys, who Dallas Cowboys' defense is a hot pile of trash. It's not great. Dak is playing phenomenal, but
Yeah,
uh,
Dak is. Yeah, Dak.
so I'm gonna say if Debo plays, it'll be closer, but if not, I still think we take it out because they are regressing. I'm gonna say 32 to 17.
All right. Well, let us know what you thought of the Mariners, of the Seahawks. Go ahead and Blue Sky us. I'm a Master B. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Sean. Kevin is Emerald Bowler on X. Sean is Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is C to Believe, SEA to Believe. Subscribe to us on YouTube and let us know what you think about the topics we talk about. We'll also be taking our own bye week to recover from the Mariners, as well as no Seahawks to talk about. I know, lots of tears. I did in the shower earlier. We'll be back in a couple weeks and we'll talk some Seahawks. We've got some Kraken we can talk about. We can talk about Mariners off season. There's a new professional women's hockey team in Seattle. We'll see what we talk about. So with that, we will see you next time on Washington, East to West Sports. Bring back our Sonics.